Okay, it's 5:30. I'll call this meeting to order. You have an agenda circulated. Would somebody like to move adoption? Seconder? All in favor? Thank you. We're going to 3.1, bylaw enforcement info report. Did you want to speak to that, Hillary?
I could mention a couple things if you haven't read the report, just to kind of highlight. There's two models that we're possibly pursuing. One would be a MTI or municipal ticket information. That's a long form ticket. It's something that many municipalities use. However, we're looking at another model as well called the bylaw notice of enforcement. It's a little bit more, not to say friendly of approach, but it's a little bit more easy to handle for a compliance in that regards, because your ticket's $500 as opposed to a $3,000 maximum fine. You don't have to go to court. You don't have to involve lawyers. You don't have to prove things to a criminal level. So it's, when it comes to parking tickets and dog bites and things like that, it's a little bit more, here's your fine. We can enforce it quickly and easily. You don't have to serve the ticket in public. We would go forward with if we did go forward with the bylaw notice, we'd register with the provincial government to be on a roster for adjudication. And we've been working with the Bulkley-Nechako Regional District and Burns Lake. They would like to move forward with the adjudication and they'd like to actually host it. So we wouldn't really have to incur too many costs because we'd be sharing it with them. So.
Any questions from anybody?
Yeah.
Go ahead, Cindy.
Is it the same model that's in Smithers right now?
Yes.
They currently
Yeah.
have it. And it's,
Yeah. Yep. So there is actually 122 municipalities within within British Columbia that already use it. So Houston, Smithers, Fort Fraser, George use it. Williams Lake, it's quite commonly used, and it doesn't exclude us from also pursuing the MTI if we need to. So if there are things that are more serious and we do need to come in a little bit more heavy-handed per se, we still have that option. It wouldn't exclude us from doing that.
Great. Ben, did you have anything to add?
Sorry?
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I thought that was pretty good. Nothing really to add right now.
Any other questions?
That would be my request. Which one would we like to pursue, or both?
Want to make a motion there, Councillor Frankel?
Yeah, I like the one that the other 120 communities in BC are doing. So I don't think the MTI is the one that we need to look at.
Right. So seconder? Okay. Any further discussion on that? All in favor?
Have to be directed. Could I just
Yeah.
read the resolution?
Yeah.
Or make that up? Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So that staff be directed to draft a bylaw notice enforcement bylaw?
Councillor Vandola?
So under this new approach, is there like an appendix of different things that you could add into that?
Yeah, it would all be laid out. So essentially anything that would be an enforceable act would be all defined within the bylaw. We'd have the penalty amounts, the times. There would be 14 days that they could dispute it. After that, then we would go from there. You can, like I said, the maximum is $500 under the bylaw notice enforcement. If they go to adjudication and the ticket is upheld, then there's an additional $25 that can be levied onto that as well. So there's other little things in there that we would have to work out all the details as we develop the bylaw.
Who's the decision maker on if someone brings it forward to be disputed? Would that be the CAO or who disputes that?
So if we've received a complaint and a ticket was issued and the ticket was disputed, it would then go to a screening officer. So somebody who's unbiased, unaware of what the situation is, they would take the evidence that's brought forward from myself and talk to the complainant, find out their side of the story, and then they would just say, typically in my experience anyway, give them the option, if you pay now, then we're done. Or if you want to continue with the dispute, it goes to adjudication, and the adjudicators come from a roster that's established by the provincial government. So they're totally separate and totally unbiased, and their decision is final.
Right. Okay. Thank you.
Any further questions? Seeing none, all in favor? That's carried. Thank you. This is a very good report. Moving on, 4.1, Utilities Master Plan. Did you want to speak to that, Margaret?
So I'm looking for council to direct award the preparation of a utilities master plan to urban systems at a cost of up to $100,000 per our budget. Urban systems currently is the most suitable and cost-effective avenue to complete the study because they will require the least amount of staff support and capacity and site visits or education on the district infrastructure, which will allow the study to be completed in a more streamlined manner without substantial delays. They have all of our information and they've been with us for decades. So they are very knowledgeable of our water and sewer and storm infrastructure systems.
Okay, do we have a mover and seconder on the recommendation? Seconder, any discussion on that? Seeing none, all in favor? Carried. Okay, Victoria Street. We have a recommendation there, but did you want to speak to that too, Margaret, or how do we? This was, if you remember, I'll just quickly speak. It was brought back for more information on the contract of the bid.
And so at this time, based on the review, we're asking for it to be awarded to MGM Project Management. And we're also asking that the second part of the resolution where the mayor and CAO be authorized to sign the contract, that be removed. It's not part of the recommendation. It's not required and it's not necessary. Willeen and I are signing officers and we can sign off on the contracts.
Does-
The information received.
Do you want to second that, Councillor Young? Any further discussion? Seeing none, all in favor? That's carried. Sorry, I'm a little slow on that. 4.3, seal coating.
So we're looking to award the 2024 seal coating contract to Northwest Seal Coating Company in the amount of $146,155. But we're also asking that council increase the budget to $161,155. The contract came in higher than the estimated costs that were passed in the financial plan. So if council agrees to increase the budget for the seal coating to complete all the seal coating that we were wanting to complete for 2024, it'll be funded from general surplus, and I will bring back a financial plan amending bylaw with any other changes that we want to make to that bylaw at a subsequent meeting.
Somebody want to put a motion on the table? Seconder? Any discussion? Seeing none, all in favor? Carried. Okay, 4.4, asphalt budget amendment. Take that one again, Margaret?
Sure. So I'm requesting that council increase the 2024 paving budget to 727,000, with the additional 370,000 being funded from general surplus. This is so that we can do the paving that was deferred from 2023 in 2024, along with the 2024 paving. And again, if we were to increase the budget by 370,000, I will bring back a financial plan amending bylaw with all of the compiled changes for council approval.
We have motion? Seconder? Councillor Vandola? Okay, any further discussion? Seeing none, all in favor? Carried. Okay, 5.1, UBCM meeting topics.
So I sent the topics from last year that for submission, we have until June 15th of this year to submit our meeting requests. And the interregnum period will start the Monday after UBCM, so there will be minutes. So if anyone's had a chance to review them, are there any ones you want to remove, add, or change? They're all worth. we heard back from, we haven't put the response letters on the agenda yet from all the ministers because we haven't heard from the Ministry of Health. I was kind of waiting till we received them all. Off the projects off. Not usually
Yeah.
this late.
Does anybody have any discussion on topics here, either that we should drop, that we should move forward? We'll do this fairly openly, but we will go by hands. But so I'll go to Cindy, then Tom, then Councillor Martins. Sorry, I went by hands, not lights. Sorry.
Oh, shucks. No, I think we still need to press for the housing infrastructure piece. You know, I think that's still something that needs to be brought up. It is. I don't,
So this is the only one we didn't get last year.
yeah,
So should I just submit it as is?
maybe with a little bit of tweaking, I'd look at it again, but I still think it's something that needs to go
Yeah.
forward for sure.
I was trying to sidebar here with Cindy, just seeing, like, it'd be nice for us to look at that and do something more specific for our community maybe, because I think it's sort of at this point now looking generic that everybody in the north would be asking the same thing. So what would we want to bring to that? Like a little more specific or just,
I agree, and without going into details in a public meeting,
Yeah.
I think we have some examples that we
Absolutely.
can point out where that's been a barrier and we
exactly.
could do things if that infrastructure was there. So
Absolutely.
I think
yeah.
it's very timely and we could put a really good.
Yeah, I think so
together.
as well.
Councillor Bulmer,
No, that was mine. Yeah, I wanted the housing.
Councillor Martins.
Yeah, I was kind of saying the same thing. I think we should continue, even the one I wondered about the health one. I mean, we certainly always looking to attract and retain staff for sure, even though the hospital question did get addressed when he was here. That, you know, we're not going to get a different answer than we got there. They did answer that, so that was good, but I would think do the same thing for sure.
Okay,
When we look at water, land and resource stewardship, could we tweak that a little? It's about flows and stuff, but could we talk about funding of the Nechako Watershed Roundtable?
Yeah.
As well. He hasn't addressed that. And we've sent several letters and requests to Minister Cullen. And it'd be good to have that in front of him. I think we have the opportunity at the sturgeon release as well, but at least we could tweak that a little.
I think I would like to see it. I think that's really good. Tweak that and put it in. I think we should leave flows and temperature in there
Oh,
because
for
this is going to be summer where we have those challenges and we can document that as we go along and take some good
just-
information that
Just a
way.
tweak.
Exactly. Yeah. Just an addition more
Yeah,
than.
yeah.
Good.
In the Sturgeon Center?
I'm not sure where that's at now, most probably.
That's a good point.
Let's check where it's at.
There's 2 requests.
Yeah. I had Cindy first and we'll get to you, Ken.
Yeah, and so we're just looking at these ones rather than introducing new ones,
If
right?
you have one, put it on the
Oh.
floor.
Oh, okay, well, you know, for sure, I think we need to keep the forests on there as well. And, but, we had talked, and I had a really interesting conversation on the weekend with somebody who was involved with CNC and just talking about the nursing program or what could happen. And, you know, I'd have, you know, we'd have to look into it more and get some more, or get more specific, but is this facility here being utilized? If we're talking about ensuring that we have healthcare, folks to staff our healthcare facilities, could we be doing something more here that's, you know, for, you know, the person suggested that I was talking to, we have, a care aid program. Could that be bridged into a LPN program with the potential of then going to CNC for a degree program? Do you know what I mean? Is there something more that can be done in the north? Yeah, that was just something I
Yeah. And definitely, and I feel like I'm hogging the mic here, but just to speak to that a little bit, knowing that Northern Health could absorb an entire class of LPNs in Vanderhoof, Fort St. James, Fraser Lake and Burns Lake. Like, it just would make too much sense, right?
Yeah.
To work that and figure that out.
Yeah.
But there are some barriers there, and some of the prerequisites for an LPM program are fairly high for what the job entails at the far end of it, right? So making sure we can maybe look at some of those barriers as well and what we can do about that.
Yeah.
Ken?
But I was gonna bring up something else, but I'll follow up on that piece. Going after being part of a bit of the process around the ECE, the program that they've started now in CNC, and there's high school students going along with other residents going through that program. If we're able to talk to Northern Health and talk to CNC and all the partners involved about starting off, okay, getting people to the spot where they need to enter into the program. So you can almost do the same thing, start at this level and then find out how many of that cohort are able to go to the next level once you completed that, because you could probably grow them through it. But it's going to take a bit of planning. But the big partner, I think, is Northern Health coming to CNC and saying, hey, look, we have these people. The big issue it always faces CNC in our community is how many seats can they fill?
Yeah.
Right? They've said to us about everything. So if they are showing that they have the ability to get these seats and there's going to be a funding available, then it's a much easier process. If
Let it
it's for
pass and say 2026 and you work backwards of how do we
Right.
get people
Right.
ready for
So-
that.
Definitely a really good thing to think about for sure.
You had another
Well,
one?
the other one was just, I see broadband still on there, and I think we've gone a long ways with, currently what we're working on in terms of the community, but we're still not gonna reach everyone in our community like really quickly, and there's still, I'm wondering if there's a way that we could almost partner in with a regional district saying, hey, we're not meeting the needs of those in just the outskirts of our community. How can we here in the north get some more help in those areas? Like, that's on there, but it doesn't really apply as much as it would now in the situation we're in. You know what
Let's
I
have a
mean?
look at that.
Like-
Yeah, I think let's request a meeting with Citizen Services and we can,
Yeah, and I don't know, do you think it'd be worthwhile talking to regional district saying, hey, look, across this area, we could talk about how do we meet the needs of
Yeah.
folks outside of municipalities and the fiber that's going in? What about everybody else?
Yeah.
Is there still an opportunity? So,
yeah, no, I think it'd be good. And we could maybe even ask Michael Reese Christensen to have a chat with us. He's the chair of the
yeah,
Connectivity Committee.
see if there's any possibilities.
Yeah. Anybody else? One gap I see is maybe that we should be having a discussion, well, both RCMP,
But this is last year.
Yeah.
That's new, you haven't talked about that. I just
I
wanted to be
think-
clear.
RCMP, we should be talking to, and we should also be talking to the RCMP as well as a entity, right? Last year, we didn't do
Yes.
that, so we should just make sure that we get that. We should be talking flood mitigation. I think, as we go down there. Well, would it be Walrus or would it be environment or EMCR? Climate resiliency is under another one, and emergency management. So figure out where it falls and put it there. Yeah.
Flood mitigation.
Can we work on those, but can we leave this open till the meeting on the 27th? And then everybody's got another week to think on this. We've discussed some of these, right? And come up with some more thoughts of where we want to go.
The hydro. With the tool. and Calculator.
Yeah. Yeah.
We asked them to present to the housing committee.
Same, yeah, let's add that on and same ministry. Let's talk about local workforce in mines. Yeah,
Oh, for the minister, not
Yeah.
the hydro.
yeah. Yeah. Okay, anything else tonight? Otherwise, yeah.
And getting money. Is this still?
I think it does, because I think we can talk. The Resource Benefits Alliance addresses infrastructure deficit. This is infrastructure need for expansion. Like, to me, that's two different, but it's a very good point to bring that up, because that'll be where they go first. So then we can talk about, this isn't maintaining what we have. This is if we want to add on. Yeah. Exactly. Yeah. Awesome. So we'll close that one off too. With that. Oh, right, yeah.
Just while we're.
We had, yeah.
So they're gonna ask if we want a meeting with BC Hydro themselves, and we did last year, and they added the ministry. Or the other way around, the ministry invited BC. But, so we're gonna get requests to see if we want to meet with Northern Health, RCMP, BC Hydro. I think that's all. Does council want to meet with those group, all three of those? Hydro or just RCMP, Northern Health?
I think it would, oh, go ahead.
Just a different thought process. Why, if we got those three identified, like hydro and health, and why can't we get them to come and talk to us here?
Oh, I've tried that.
Oh, okay. Because it's just, you know, to free up more time. Yeah. I'm just thinking of those ones, we could try again to get them to meet from now until September and do our presentation to them here. Hydro may be difficult, but if we're unsuccessful, then add them to the list, or add them to the list. And if we get them here, we can cross them off. But get them here would be awesome. And then we just have more time. Yeah.
Talking about pricing on the dead volume that's out there. Because we talked to him personally,
Yeah,
but it'd be
sure.
good to know whether or not there's any discussion with revenue branch and where they're going with the pricing. And in my mind, it should be, you know, in a table rate issue rate, and just.
So we might.
Well, actually, why don't we try and meet with the Minister of State, because we've been in front of him twice now.
Yeah.
Let's keep in front of his
Mercier.
face. Mercier.
Mercia,
Yeah.
Andrew, yeah.
There's nothing like FaceTime. Yeah.
We already talked to him about it, so he's had ample
Yeah.
time to come up with a strategy that they could bring forward to us, right?
Good. Anything else on this one? Okay, we'll move on to 6.1. There's a recommendation that Ben Robertson be appointed approving officer for the District of Vanderhoof effective immediately. Would anybody like to make that?
I'll move that
Motion.
we. appoint Ben.
Seconder? Any discussion? All in favor? Carried. Okay, and with that, I declare us adjourned.